everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to go over the top 5 things that I will do differently in 2020 for my PCT through hike versus what I did in 2019 for the section hike that I did on the PCT. Being out there this year for 266 miles, it wasn't a super long time, but it was a good solid 4 weeks and enough time for me to really get a feel for what I think I would benefit from doing differently if I were given the chance again. And because I'm given the chance again, I definitely am going to take advantage of those things. And I had to think about this long and hard because there were a lot of little things that I would change, of course, but these were the top 5 things that kept coming up that seemed that they would enhance my experience on the PCT in some way and that I would definitely find some benefit from changing. So here we go. And number 1 is my physical training. And if you watched my videos last year, you know that I was training pretty hard, or it seemed that way. I think I was training pretty hard. I mean, I probably could have done things differently in hindsight. But this year I could see that, I was dealing with my iron deficiency, of course, that I didn't realize. So that definitely was making things a little bit more difficult than they needed to be. But I could definitely see, and in talking to my hiking partner and other people too, that the hills, you're climbing up a lot of hills just right out of the gate at Campo. And then you're also going downhill a lot as well. And both of those things can definitely make a big impact on you by not just making you tired, but hurting your knees or your feet. And I was really surprised to see how much the downhill declines, especially over a period of like a mile or 2 miles of just constant downhill. And anybody that's done that stretch from up by, is it Idlewild? Yeah, that stretch up by Idlewild down to Cabazon, that downhill stretch is torture on your body. So I definitely do things that increase my body's capabilities of taking that extra impact. And that's also losing some weight in my pack and all that, but I'll get with that later. But anyway, so what I'm going to do with my physical training is I plan on doing some of the things I did last year, which were obviously hiking with my backpack over miles and increasing my mileage, but also trying to find terrain that allows me to do hills, going uphill, downhill. This time I would try to find rockier terrain to train on more regularly because there's a lot of twisting of the feet and the ankles, and over a period of miles that can get really, really tiring for your body and really start to hurt. I definitely want to work on my endurance as far as going uphill for long periods of time. So I'm going to be setting, there's going to be times where I just, I'm not going to be able to go outside for miles and miles, but I can get on my treadmill and set it to incline, so I can start at a low setting, work my way up to a higher setting, and I can do that for as many miles as I want to. So working on that endurance, and I also have a step-up platform that I'm going to be doing a lot of lower leg workouts and step ups, step downs, doing a lot of squats, lunges, anything I can do to work my lower body and just get that in pristine shape, hopefully, before I get out there. That's my intention anyway, and I definitely have a lot more motivation to stick with that this year and make sure that I'm in the best shape I can when I leave Campo. And okay, so physical training is definitely one thing I would change and just improve upon. And number 2 would be eating healthier. I think I did an okay job last year in terms of what the typical through hiker eats out there. And I did a video last year about what I'll be eating on the trail if you want to take a look at that back then. And it wasn't terrible, and I did try to eat healthy, but I ended up adding more sugars and higher carb foods than I probably should have for me. I know my body, and over the past few years especially, I'm not very tolerant of a lot of carbohydrates. My body bloats up, I get fatigued, I just don't feel good. It messes with my blood sugar, and it does the opposite for me. It gives some people energy, and too much of it actually makes me feel bad. So I decided that, I need to really dial in my nutrition, try to incorporate as much fruits and veggies as I can. Obviously, it's hard to take fresh produce on the trail, so I'll do that when I leave towns for the first day or two. But I'm going to be dehydrating a lot of my own meals this year too, and I plan on putting together probably about 5 or 6 videos on some of the backpacking meals that I'm going to be putting together for myself and sending myself through resupplies. And so basically I'm just going to be watching my sugars and trying to really be careful about how many refined carbs that I'm adding to my diet. I'm not I don't do keto or anything like that, but I'm definitely going to be in the lower carb range. But I'm definitely going to have plenty of carbs in my fruits and veggies, and probably in the way of oats and things like that. So that's another thing, is just dialing in my nutrition and making sure that I have it for my specific needs out there. I also have to eat more iron-rich foods. After dealing with iron deficiency, I don't want that to be a problem again. That has improved dramatically, though. I'm back in the normal range, thank goodness. And then just continuing with my supplementation while I'm out there. So that was number 2. And number 3 would be losing excess body weight. And that kind of goes hand in hand with my next one as well, which is lowering my base weight. But I would like to lose probably about 20 to 30 pounds before I leave for the PCT. And that'll be either March or April, hopefully, depending on when I can get my permit. And the reason for doing that, obviously, is less weight on your body, less wear and tear on your knees and feet. For every step you take, and this is just walking on flat ground, you can multiply whatever pounds you are by 4. So every step is like multiply your weight by 4, and that's how much impact that you're having on your body. So if I can lose even 20 pounds, that's 80 less pounds of impact, and even more so going downhill where you have that downward force. So I am going to try really hard to lose some weight. It's really challenging. Any woman that's in her late 40s or 50s going through perimenopause or menopause knows it's really hard to lose weight. Our hormones are just working against us all the time, it seems, but my diet's really clean right now. I'm eating lower carbs. I'm exercising about 5 to 6 days a week, taking the rest days that I need, and also having 1 day of calorie up and carbing up a little bit on healthier foods. So I'm doing everything I can to lose some weight, so the rest is up to my body. But even if I lose 15 pounds of my 20 to 30 pound goal, I'll be really happy, because I know being out on the trail, you're just going to end up losing weight over time anyway, so it's probably good to start the trail with a little extra fluff on you. So for my next item, number 4, I'm definitely going to be working on lowering my base weight of my backpack. Last year when I ended, my base weight, and this was without the ice axe or my micro spikes included, was about 17.4 pounds, and that really went up. I just, I added little items at the end. I think it's just those impulse items. As you get close to leaving for the PCT, you're like, okay, I do want to add this and I want to add that, and I'll be fine. I've been training. I can handle another extra pound or 2. It's not a big deal. But I do think it ended up being a big deal for me and my particular body. Maybe some people can handle that, but I told myself last year that, especially when I was on that last stretch where I was really struggling, coming out of the Whitewater Preserve and going up to Big Bear, I was really having a hard time with the trying to climb in and out of that rock scramble area where we were losing the trail and climbing up the banks, and the ground was just slipping beneath your feet, and that was exhausting with all that weight on my back especially. And then trying to immediately after that do that steep elevation climb up into the Big Bear area. So that was really difficult, and I remember at that time saying to myself that if I get a chance to do this again, I am definitely going to lose some weight for my pack. So, as soon as I got home, I just almost in disgust, I put my backpack on my bed and just started tearing things out that I knew that I wasn't going to take with me next time. So I got it to about 5 pounds that I was able to remove from my pack, and I've had to swap out a couple items, so it's kind of hovering about 4.5 to 5 pounds, but I'm still going to look at my backpack and see what else I can change out. There's always something that, but now we're down to just 0.1, 0.2 ounce changes that I really can make from here on out. There's nothing major in the way of weight that I can change. But I'll be doing a final gear review video also to let you know exactly what my gear is going to look like for 2020 now that I have it changed out and more dialed into what I want to start with this time. But I have my base weight down to between 12 and 13 pounds, just depending on a couple items. I'm still kind of wavering over whether I want to bring them or not. So, but I'm really happy with that. And oh, and I also got my food weight down as well because I'm dehydrating meals. I got my daily food from about, maybe it's like 2.2 pounds a day down to about 1.5 pounds a day. And actually it was like 1.35 pounds. So I just rounded it up to 1.5 pounds a day, which is awesome. And then that gives me a little wiggle room for any fresh produce and cheese or other things that I want to bring from town with me on the trail. So less food weight, less gear weight is definitely going to make a difference for me in 2020. And so the last thing, number 5, that I would change or do differently for 2020 would be starting hiking earlier in the morning and not sleeping in so much. Towards the end we started getting up a little bit earlier, and that definitely made a bit of a difference. But yeah, I just didn't like the idea of feeling like I was leaving camp so late in the morning. It was hard to just kind of, I mean, at home when I sleep in, I always feel like kind of groggy and it takes a while to wake up. And I definitely like the idea of getting up early before the sunrise if I can, and just really enjoy being out there first thing. And not only allows me to have more break times, but I can take that little mini nap at lunchtime, or just as many breaks as I feel like I need throughout the day to possibly make a couple more miles during the day. I know that towards the end I was doing anywhere from about 12 to, I think we did an 18-mile day was our longest day. But I definitely want to try to do a couple more miles during the day to see if, keep that momentum going. And I'll be in physical shape to where I should be able to handle a couple more miles during that day. So getting up earlier is definitely going to allow me to do that, and then be able to take those needed breaks in order to do that. And so, another big reason for doing this was to get to camp earlier in the afternoon. You can look at it however you want to, but me, I love camping. I love being outdoors. I love being able to just look at nature, enjoy myself, sip on some hot drink, and just, really enjoy that downtime. And I feel like most days that we were kind of rushing into camp kind of late, or at least I was. I seemed to be the slower one, but rushing to get my tent put up, and then you're starving. So, you're freezing too. So you want to like change your clothes and put on all your warm stuff, get inside your sleeping bag some days, and then also make your dinner because you're starving. And then I felt like it was like almost dark, and I didn't really get to enjoy that time before I shoved dinner in my face, and then sat up for a little bit before I could lay down in my sleeping bag. And I felt like I was in my sleeping bag for close to 12 hours some nights, if you consider 7:30 to 7:30 in the morning. So maybe not that long, but close enough. And that's a long time to be laying there. I definitely think that for me, getting into camp earlier is important so that I feel like I get to enjoy my time out there more. I felt like I missed out on a certain component of the trail that was important to me, and so this is probably one of the bigger things that I think is really important is, when people say hike your own hike, they mean it. It's not just, something you hear and you're like, yeah, whatever. I hear that all the time. I understand it, but it is important to hike your own hike, or you're not going to enjoy the experience for a very long period of time. And I definitely need to make sure that I listen to my body and take whatever breaks I need to. If I feel like going farther in the day, I can by taking the extra breaks. And getting to camp early also allows me to do my chores before I go to bed and feel like I'm not rushed the next morning. I can get my water taken care of and filtered for the night. I can get my food prepared for the next day. A lot of people get their breakfast and their snack and lunch kind of laid out for the next day, so you're ready to just grab it out of your pack. And so anyway, that way I feel like I'm just kind of like in camp. I have time to do things at the end of the day and enjoy myself. So I know that was kind of long-winded, but you know, that's something that was really important to me, and I don't feel like I gave myself enough time to do that while I was out there. And that definitely affected my experience. So those are definitely the top 5 things: physical training, eating healthier, losing excess body weight, lowering my base weight, and also starting hiking earlier in the day. I'd be curious to see what you guys who've been out there and done these long hikes, you know, what you decided was something that you wanted to change, that made a difference for you as well. We're all so unique and different with what we need to enjoy ourselves out there. So I appreciate you so much for stopping by. Please give the video a like, and also if you're not subscribed, please do so. I'll be doing daily videos once I'm on the PCT, and I look forward to sharing my experience with all of you. So you take care, and we will talk soon. Bye.